Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. The time is always right to do what is right. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. True peace is not the absence of tension, but the presence of justice. Love is the solution to the world's problems. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. We must live together as brothers, or perish together as fools. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. A nation or civilization that continues to produce soft-minded men purchases its own spiritual death on the installment plan. Power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. We must find the courage to build dikes that can hold back the flood of fear. An individual does not truly start living until they rise above narrow individualistic concerns and embrace the broader concerns of humanity. Change is never easy, but always possible. We must be willing to endure temporary disappointments in life, but we should never give up on our long-term aspirations and dreams. The true test of a person's character is not their behavior in times of comfort and convenience, but rather their actions in moments of challenge and controversy. Our lives start to decline when we stop speaking up about things that are important. I have chosen to stick with love. Hatred is too heavy a burden to bear. The purpose of education is to develop critical thinking and character. People fail to get along due to fear, which stems from a lack of communication. Continuous struggle leads to change, not inevitability. There comes a time when one must take a stand that is not safe, politically correct, or popular, but they must take it because their conscience tells them it is right. We might have arrived on different ships, but we are all in the same boat now. The world's security and livability depend on disciplined nonconformists who are committed to justice, peace, and brotherhood. We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. Never give in to the temptation of feeling bitter. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. Forgiveness is not something that should be done only once in a while. It is a way of thinking and behaving that should be integrated into our permanent attitude towards others. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. Out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. Be a bush if you cannot be a tree. If you cannot be a highway, just be a trail. If you cannot be a sun, be a star. Because it is not by size that you win or fail, but by being the best at whatever you are. We have some challenging days ahead of us. However, that doesn't matter to me anymore because I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land and looked over it. It's possible that I may not be able to join you in reaching there, but I want you to know that as a community, we will arrive at the promised land. For when people get caught up with that which is right, and they are willing to sacrifice for it, there is no stopping point short of victory. There is nothing more tragic than to find an individual bogged down in the length of life, devoid of breadth. It's more frustrating when well-intentioned people don't fully understand than when ill-intentioned people misunderstand. A lie cannot live. There can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love. Man must develop a method that rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation for all human conflicts. Love is the foundation of such a method. There comes a time when one grows weary of being relegated to the shadows of life's summer and left to suffer in the icy grip of an alpine winter. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Non-violence is an absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional bash. It is not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. We are not makers of history. We are made by history. Rarely do we find people who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some individuals more than having to think critically. Let us not seek to quench our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. In some not too distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all their scintillating beauty. We shall match your capacity to inflict suffering by our capacity to endure suffering. We will meet your physical force with soul force. Do to us what you will, and we shall continue to love you. If someone loves another person solely due to their friendliness, then their love is based on the benefits that can be gained from the friendship, rather than the person themselves. Therefore, the best way to confirm that love is pure is to love one's enemy neighbor, who is expected to show hostility and persecution, and from whom no good can be expected in return. Love is redemptive while hate is destructive. Thus, Jesus says to love your enemies. You know, many people struggle with self-love, which can result in emotional conflicts that haunt them throughout their lives. Therefore, the key to a fulfilling life is to love yourself and accept who you are, flaws and all. You can kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream. I want to be the white man's brother, not his brother-in-law. Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. A delay in receiving a right results in a denial of that right.